It's that time of the year again where the darkness is massively creeping in. Everyone's getting colds and coughs, and I've certainly got one. And it's time and overdue for another Focus Mark 1 in the marketplace. I know for those of you who are also into the Rover stuff, I am not neglecting the Rover side of things. There are Rover videos to come. But I thought, since the last live stream, I thought I haven't done one of them videos in ages. And Mark 1 values are going in a very interesting direction from what I can see on especially Facebook Marketplace, eBay. I think mainly people are asking more for them. It's quite interesting to see how this is going to pan out. I mean, I had this massive discussion with someone the other day about where classic car, modern classic values are going in general, not let alone cars, because we are, well, if you're in the UK, that is, the UK is in a deep recession, but the government doesn't want to announce it as a deep recession because that looks really bad on the government, but we know it is a recession. And at some point, when people are paying increased rents, increased mortgages, everything squeezes. The number one thing is that you have a roof over your head, and then everything comes second. And this might push me into making some tough decisions. It certainly will do something for a lot of owners who are kind of marginal with their cars, and they can only just afford the amount of cars they have. We have a disease, it's called being a car enthusiast, and that is where owning one car is not really enough, even though you may only have one car and you would like another, but you can't afford another one. But you're very sensible, because there are people like myself who are not sensible about these things and get carried away. But anyway, that's the world of classic cars for you. But in a sense, it might be an interesting fact on where car values in this end of the market tend to go, because as people tend to put their finances into the most important things in their life, the cars get left, and that's where prices may drop. That is where people will be paying less for cars because they have less of a disposable income. There will be less repairs being done on the cars, and that is going to only suffer in terms of the cars in the long term. It is a massive issue, not just Focus Mark 1s. It is a massive issue that I think is not quite happening at the moment. I believe up north there is a serious issue going on with a recession. The recession hasn't quite hit the Midlands where I live and down south, but you know, everybody has their own little stories to tell. So, but for now, in the present, at the moment, let's see what people are asking for their Mark 1s, what condition are they in, and let's start rubbishing people's adverts, or not. Okie dokie, so let's go straight forward. As you can see, what I've been searching for recently, I've been trying to search for Mark 3 Fiesta parts. I'm finding it extremely difficult to get parts for early Mark 3 Ford Fiestas. If it was a 3.5 Fiesta, perfectly, absolutely fine. There's lots of parts you can get, but Mark 3s, my God. This is a lovely Fiesta Mark 5 in Kidderminster. It's not too far away from me. £2,000. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted here. This is a real problem with Facebook Marketplace. You can find gems that you never thought you'd wanted in the first place. Future classic, definitely a future classic. But how good are the arches at the back? I mean, that's really tidy, that is. My God. Oh, stop it. Finish. Got a Canuck £2,000 Ford Fiesta Mark 3. It's quite interesting. Got a Ford Mondeo in Birmingham on an S-Reg. Well, not the S-Reg. It is a S-Reg, but it looks dreadful. It's a Verona. Oh, I can get carried away with all this. It looks algaed. And it's a diesel. Oh, it's the 1.8 TDDI. £1,500. You've got to be joking. Standing for 8 years. Scrap that, man. I'm sorry. That is not worth 1,500 quid. You've got to be joking. Sorry. I'm getting distracted. Might have to keep doing this. For those of you who are not familiar with this, I tend to... I don't know why 40 miles of Birmingham, please. Let's go a bit nationwide. No, I want a bit more than that. Excuse me. Right, okay. Yeah, that's a bit modified, £2,000. I can't really say about modified focuses because they're just... Right, for 495, it was reduced from 550. We have this 2005 Ford Focus. I'll just tilt the camera a little bit. So it's on a 54 plate. It looks like an LX to me because it hasn't got fog lamps at all. It is it? Yes, it is. Judging by the alloys, it's completely standard. 1.6, everything's smooth. Brake steering work fine. Not a great history as a Part X and a gap car for a period of another vehicle being repaired, but nice cheap runner to go. That's a fairly honest review because not many people would actually admit that they've bought it as a gap car. So that could be quite a nice car actually. 100,000 miles. There's not many. The pictures are rubbish. Don't take pictures on a portrait angle. You've got to go landscape. All this missing. Stop doing it. There's rubbish. I mean, he hasn't even got it centered properly. It's like he just couldn't be arsed. Well, you're not going to get much for that, but it's dreadful. It's possibly a better car than what the advert depicts. You see, this is a sort of car that actually I'd recommend you have a look at. Anyway, next one. Got another local car here. Oh, 2003 Mark 1 Estate, 75,000 miles. Ooh, yes, it is. Automatic. Right, so it's a Z-Tech Estate automatic, so presumably it's not a 1.4, it's a 1.6, you idiot. Well, he's got the horsepower wrong because it's not that. It's not 115. 2 owners, 75,000 miles, 1.6 petrol, automatic, 12 months MOT. That's really good. So, clean interior, good tyres all round, clean, well looked after. Perfect first car, being an automatic 1.6. Little car, right there, because people don't drive manuals these days or don't learn to drive manuals. Engine's quite gears change smoothly. Yeah, well, they usually do. There's no problems with them. No issues whatsoever. 1250. That's really nice. And an O2 plate. What's wrong with it? I can't see anything going on here. You need to. This wing is slightly out of alignment with the sill, but that can somewhat happen. But it doesn't look a different colour. So unless it's being replaced with an identical colour match, I would say that this is original. There's a little bit of a scuff here, but overall, I'm just looking. Even this looks tidy at the end. I think this is one heck of a tight. Yeah, it wouldn't normally have a finisher. Someone's put that on at the end. Oh, it's very tidy, this. This is very, very tidy. I can't see any problems. Even the back, that's a very tidy car. Oh my goodness. There must be something wrong with this. That's a bargain. 75,000 miles for an automatic 1.6 Estate with no obvious flaws in the paintwork. I can't see much. There might be the odd scuff here and there, but I can't really tell. There was only that one on the other side of the arch. I would say that asking price is a good asking price, but it could be worth a bit more. And being an estate, they are good workhorses, and I don't often see estates in this condition. I quite like the look of that. It's quite local to me. That's a real... Oh, goodness me. That's quite tempting for me. No, already got an automatic. Thank you very much. Yeah. I would say, and there's no... Just check that. They can't... Well, some people take the blooming bulbs out. I would say that's about £1,500. I think that's been undersold. Just saying. Nice car. We've got one here at Bury St Edmunds, and again, I'm just going to tilt the camera up a bit. A 2000 Ford Focus, so nice pre-facelift, and it all looks very straight. It's got its stone deflector in place. They usually get taken off because people just hit them. The wheel trim's looking really nice condition. That looks nice and tidy from a first glance, it looks very tidy along the bottom of the doors. That arch looks tidy. It's got a tow bar on the back. 106,000 miles, and that looks very tight. Oh no. Someone's put the chrome versions on the... Oh no, I think that's so tacky. That's easily replaced. I don't like it. You've done it again. You need to get your pictures orientated. Nobody likes twisting their head, but at a glance that looks okay. Coolant bottle looks a bit dirty from what it should be. Everything looks in order. I like that. For 1,000, well, I was 995. He's reduced it to 805 for some reason, unless that's a typo in the description there. It's great condition, usual marks, been very reliable. Unfortunately, I'm unable to keep it. Why? Why? It's such a nice car. I question why you want to get rid of it. Oh, it's a Cat N. Due to the tow bar damage, but this was replaced with a new tow bar. Oh, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Currently sawned, Michelin tires all round. That's really nice to know, that is. That's a very big selling point. 6 months MOT, 106,000 miles. Do you know something? I always look at the seller ratings as well, but that's a nice car as well, and that's been undersold. That should be at least, for the miles and the condition, I still think that should be £1,200. That's disappointing to see that being undersold. I'm mainly concentrating on Facebook Marketplace. We got a 2003 Focus. It was up 9 hours ago, 1,300. Very clean example. Just past the MOT with flying colours, not one single advisory. That's quite suspiciously interesting because most of them do not pass with no advisories. Depends on your MOT tester, of course. So it's got a 12-month MOT for 72,000 miles, 2 keys, full service on Friday, oil change, the coolant flush, the brake fluid change, the cabin fluid. When you say brake fluid change, it means they've bled it a little bit and taken a bit out. Induction kit, no, it's got no, we don't want exhausted induction kits. It's just no. Test drives, okay, so it's up at Fareham. Oh, it's Panther Black, lovely. So it's a Z-Tech and it's got a bit of a tainted exhaust. Yeah, as they said it needs the caps and the. What is going on with that registration plate? Why is that so low? It's so low. It needs to be brought up. Who stuck that on there? That looks really stupid. Red calipers. I've seen that a mile off. Again, I don't like portrait pictures, but this is nice in Panther Black, you know. It looks better at this distance than it will be in the flesh. Believe you me, you go to look at this car, guys, and you'll see all sorts of bad things, I'm afraid. It's the thing with Panther Black. 1,300? Yeah, I would say that's probably bang on the money, to be honest with you. Nice one. We are going to Wales in a Penarth. Am I pronounced that correctly? I hope so. This is a gear, a later one. So we've got the later gear alloys. I prefer these. These are very, very nice indeed. Again, I think, oh yeah, he's had a patch done just at the end. I can see that. Okay, well, that's ideal. If he's had it patched up, it just, you know, it is how it is. I don't like the mud flaps. They cause problems with rust. Very nice indeed. Again, big fat exhaust. Leather seats in really good condition. Can't really see too much in the way of wear. That's great. Interiors are quite hard wearing, as much as they are a bit tacky. 82,000 miles. Heated seats, sunroof, aircon. See, this is quite a brief description. This is. It's not enough information. 2 keys, tow bar, MOT to. Oh, next September. Fair condition, £850. Not many pictures, but I'd take a gamble on that one. For Wales, it depends what it's like underneath. If it's had that done, then I'd like to see a bit more underneath. But yeah, it could be worth more. It might be a fair deal. It's interesting to know, but it's difficult to interpret that. There's one up Sheffield for 14 weeks ago, probably sold. Leather seats again, manual gearbox. 70. This is a comment I've seen quite a few times. A lot of examples now that are coming out the woodwork have got low miles. It's quite depicting that the high mileage examples have been run into the ground. These leather seats look very nice. The foam is in really good condition. You can tell where the foam just sits really nicely. It hasn't gone flat. And that driver's seat looks exceptionally good. The MOT expires the end of October. Should pass. It's a black edition. Oh, it's a black edition. Ah, okay. That's quite rare. That's probably while the rarest Mark 1's left. There's only, I think, about 140. My last recollection, probably less, 130. Yeah, it's a genuine black. I don't like the wheels on them, but they are standard. It's blotted out the registration. What's the point in doing that? Unless you want to hide something. Yeah, okay. Interesting. We don't know what the sill covers hide, but it's genuine miles and it looks rather dry underneath the bonnet. I like that. Not everybody shows you under the bonnet. 76,000 on the clock, good condition. Logbook paperwork included with private reg plates, located in Sheffield. £800, no offers. Now, £800 for a special edition that probably people don't realise is quite rare. It looks in really good condition, no dents that I can see, and yeah, it looks really nice actually. For that miles is far too cheap. It should be about 1,200, 1,300 at least, but the MOT expires soon, and that for me brings a little bit of suspicion. I mean, I hope that leak there is not this car. I hope it isn't. I just get suspicious when I see this stuff, but it probably isn't. But when people say, oh, the MOT is running out or it's expired, but it should pass. Well, then why haven't you put an MOT on it then? Clearly there's something that you don't like about it and you think it's not going to pass. There's a problem that you're covering up. So I would be very suspicious about that. And the fact he's covered up the registration plate means that he probably doesn't want you seeing the MOT history. I'd be very, very cautious about this car. It may have some bad rust underneath that you don't want to know about, but unfortunately you're going to find out on a viewing. Someone may sucker into that and buy it. Somebody may have bought it 14 weeks ago, but this is a good example of one to be very, very aware of. At the end of the day, if he thought it was going to pass the MOT, put it in for the MOT, stick a 12-month ticket on it, and it will be worth $1,500 all day long. All day long. This has caught my attention. Oh, God, bad photos. Panther Black, 53 plate, 86,000 miles, low mileage again, 1.6, runs and stops well, recently fitted with new alternator and drive belt and a new expansion tank. That's really good to know. The paintwork shows some sign of age, but no serious dents or damage. The handbrake cable is broken. Never bothered me. About 15 quid for the part. Yeah, I think a handbrake is part of the MOT. Interesting. So how's it passed an MOT? It must have broken recently then. Cluster gauge is having intermittent fault. That's fine. That's fine. It's not the fuse. It's because the board's gone a bit damp. Clearly somebody doesn't know about these, which is a bit concerning. That's a very honest engine bay, and it looks quite decent. Yeah, it looks very hazy, but it needs a bit of a, that really does need a polish up. That's how my Mark 1 looked when I first bought it, quite hazy. And in fact, this is a great example of where you can see Panther Black is starting to look like a very bluey hue. It has that tarnished, oxidized appearance, but when you polish that, it turns it black again. So the blue element, the blue tint to Panther Black really comes out when it oxidizes. So just be wary of that. But yeah, for the price, I can't argue. But at the same time, he's had a few bits done, but I don't think this guy knows what he's selling. Okay, we have another car being sold in Walsall, advertised as ULEZ free, which it is, and most of them are after 2001, January the 1st. You can get a certificate of conformity if you've got a 1.6 from pre-2001, but it's a bit of a faff, but you can do it. Automatic, 82,000 miles, 2 keys. I think this person is in English. Oh, I've just actually found that out. Yeah, their English is quite poor, but it's Car start and driving very good. Don't be offended, but that sounds quite hilarious. When you translate whatever their language is into English, it comes across as very blunt. Yeah, interesting exhaust there. It needs a polish, but if it works, it works. And oh god, they've done a double din. Yeah, some people like it, some people don't. That looks really poorly fitted. They've butchered. That's the original fascia, that is. They've butchered it to fit it. They haven't bought an aftermarket fascia. But overall, for the price of £1,500, it's quite expensive, that. I would say that's quite expensive. It's missing its stone deflector. It's not presented in the condition that would... I mean, the door mirrors are not correct either. The cappings have gone, so clearly the door mirrors have been bashed off. I would say that's quite expensive for what it is. I would probably view that as about... Depends when the MOT's up. It doesn't say. So I would say £1,000. That's an example of one that's actually overpriced for how it's presented. But it could be worth £1,500. But it depends how rust-free it is. The golden question, eh? Now I'm going to cap this off by looking at this. 2004 Ford Focus. Clearly an ST170. I like the mud flaps. The wheels look tidy, although they can corrode quite badly. £3,000 in Wales. 84,000 miles. Really clean, well looked after. Just had a machine polish, I can tell. That's what Pamper Black should look like, exactly like my car. In fact, that looks just as good as my car. My bumper needs to look like that. We'll put 12 months MOT for the full asking price. So it's not MOT'd, but are you that confident it'll pass? That's an interesting one, but to be honest with you, would I question that? No, because I think if the car tallies up, it's been taken in... Well, this is the thing, it's been taken during the dark hours, so I love the electroluminescent dials. I think they're so cool. They really are cool. I like that. £3,000 for an ST170? I think that's decent money. I really do. I'd be interested to see if that sells. It was 2 weeks ago now. Now I've just seen this one for £2,500. We have a 1.6 gear. This is quite interesting because you don't usually find them around this price point. Metropolis Blue. That's really interesting. It looks like it's in a nice location. That's been resprayed. That quarter panel does not match the boot. I can tell that. That's quite interesting, but it looks like it's been resprayed. Yeah, that looks like new paint to me. And it's been resprayed. Okay. Listed 3 weeks ago and it's still up. No one's bitten. That's very tidy. That looks very tidy. Oh my goodness, that looks very tidy. Yes, that looks like my own. That looks very tidy. Very tidy in the boot area. Although, saying that, I like to take the spare wheel and make sure it's as tidy underneath because that's where your water goes. Very interesting. 88,000 miles. Offered for sale. This a beautifully, increasingly rare Mark 1 Focus. This is a good ad. This has drawn me in. This is a top spec gear example. So it has electric everything, air conditioning, which works, velour seats, upgraded alloy wheels. It's just had a fresh valet, new cam belt and tensioners, new water pump, air filters, spark plug, cabin filter. Wow, that's peace of mind, that is. Someone's been doing their due diligence. A fresh 12 months MOT, starts and drives very beautifully. An affordable, usable, modern classic that is going up in value. Oh my goodness me, this is a man after my own heart. 2,500 firm, all part exchanges considered. Mr. Scott. Oh my goodness me, I know what car this is. I've just realised. This is a very famous car off another YouTube channel that we've all been watching. Oh my goodness me, this was part of a restoration. Now that explains it. I was right about this side. He's resprayed this side. Oh my goodness me. Yes. Wow. Okay. This has had a lot of work done, and it's had some welding done. He's done some welding. He bought this car for £200. So it's quite a markup, but he's done a lot of work to it. Probably nowhere near as much work as what I've done to mine. But the truth is, he bought it for his channel and to flip it. And I hope that someone else bought it, because this was 3 weeks ago. Nobody has snapped it. I'm really surprised by this. That is interesting. I'm going to leave that here. That is rather surprising. That is that car may have potentially not sold. I can't believe I didn't actually cotton on that it was in fact that car. He's done a really good job with that. And I think that's the way, as a YouTuber, that's the way you earn subscribers, by taking a lovely car that needs work, probably at quite a cheap price. I bought Beatrix for £400, and turning them round into something that I don't think the car would have ever thought it would ever end up in that condition. If cars had feelings, some people say they do, you would think, I always think about Beatrix. What would Beatrix have been thinking, sitting there for 2 years, thinking the same thing? I'm going to the scrapyard. This is the only way I'm going. And then it's turned into what she is. And I think there's something quite poetic about that. And somebody needs to buy that car. 2,500. You see, this is the thing. People may value their cars a little bit higher, but it's whether people are willing to put the money in their pocket. And at the moment, sadly, Focus Mark 1s in certain corners are still seen as bangers, and there's no way anybody can justify that amount of money on that car, because people still think, hold on, it's an old Focus. It shouldn't be worth more than £1,500, regardless of how good it is. So it's about challenging that mindset now. These are not the people that I want around the scene, quite frankly, because these cars are now beyond daily drivers. They have got too many problems, and I've mentioned this before. But quite interesting, most of these cars are at the bottom range. Most of them, from what I can see, are being undersold, because I don't think people are aware that the values have actually gone up a little bit. But then at the same time, it depends on whether someone is taken the bait and bitten. And it might be some of these cars have not been bitten whatsoever, and no one's prepared to stump up the extra few £100, which is quite sad. And it just means these cars are going to hang around a bit longer, because I think people are willing to go, do you know what? I'm just going to cross my arms, and I'm just going to wait for that person to come and give me that money. I'm in no rush. And I think more people are doing that now. So it's a bit of a juxtaposition between buyers and sellers. In terms of the market, it's definitely a buyer's market still. But I reckon if you have a top end model, like the one at the end of this video, that is because, well, I wouldn't say probably that's one of the nicest examples, but it's one of the tidier ones, and it's in the top 10% bracket, like my own. And unless you've got one in that top 10%, you are not in a good position to sell your Focus. It has to be in top condition to say, well, I can justify this price. Look at this. You will buy it if you see it. And a car that's 20 years old, what can you expect? 20 years old. Anyway, you take care, guys. I hope this has been useful and some useful tips have been given. You take care. See you very soon.